Thanks, Prashant. Always, you have given a wonderful introduction and makes others' job easy, actually, to summarize entire achievement that one scientist has done so far and whatever, Sai Vasasan you have done earlier also. I've seen wonderful scientists. I'm not so great scientist on this particular forum, but I'll try my best to, share my experience, mainly in the industry that I had after, the skill and knowledge that I acquire after academia. And you rightly said that I'm very, closely working towards improvement of overall health of the community. And I would like to also share a couple of experience that I had throughout my journey in last one decade. So allow me to present first without wasting much more time. Yeah. So I'm from very small village from Bihar, the district Gopalganj. Even not it was not at the town also. So uh, my father, I'm very proud, to introduce him always. He's a gold medalist, and he served state of Bihar as an engineer and retired as the executive engineer over there. My mother is a homemaker, so it's a balance between both. As a parent, as a and a father figure, mother figure, I can see that I have like one. My father is always very career oriented, and my mother is very cool, and so I had a mixed kind of environment at my home, and that what drive me to balance work and life as well. Today, that was the very, you can say I feel very proud to have a father like this. He never ever forced me to do anything in my entire life so far. So that was the other liberty that I had. So that is the reason I express myself the way I wanted always, and that is how I am actually. So I have very little friends, to be honest, because book is always my friend from my childhood, and except the Facebook friend list that I have, and most of the time we need help in mathematics. So he always taught me in a nice way, and that is the reason I scored two times 100 out of 100 marks in preschool time. And I can see his face. He was very happy to share the report cards to all of his colleagues and all. Look, another engineer born in my family. So that, I mean, that, but he never expressed to me that I want you to become engineer. That is a good thing. And he always said, do whatever you want to do, but at the same time, don't lose your integrity and ethics. That is very basic, fundamental things that I learned from his life as a humble person. And I always feel proud, as I said, to have parents like them. So then after primary school, I moved to Aligarh, where I was lucky enough to got admission in high school. So class ninth I was there, and then 10th I done over there. So secondary school, and then senior secondary school also from the Aligarh. Then this school, like, it also gave me a different kind of culture environment over there. This is a Minto Circle, which is very famous, notorious kind of batches. Most of the time they notice in this school, but I was opposite to that. I was very shy. I never ever wanted to interact with anyone at that time. This is my school. And one thing I noticed now, actually, nowadays, when I revisited my university alma mater after a long time, after a decade, you can say, there I see a signboard, just a straight enter the gate, actually. Enter to learn and leave to serve. That what make me proud, actually, because I've never noticed in that way at that time. I was only where to go and what is follow the roadmap for visitors for me also as well when I entered this school campus. But today I realize what this particular signboard mean at that time. So I privileged to share this experience as well in I graduate of chemistry, applied chemistry rather, you can say, from Department of Chemistry. That is that newly course, vocational course was launched at that time, industrial chemistry. So I always try to do some course where I can earn and bread and butter for myself, for my family in future as well, because we are not well rich family. We are very from common family. As I said, my father was a government servant as an engineer, and then I mean, I was like wanted to have something in my hand so that even after the degree I can learn some skill and then go and get a job somewhere in the industry. So that why I opted industrial chemistry at that time. I and this industrial chemistry, though, having said that, it's a new department, so they have another separate building over there at that time, the newly constructed. I still remember very closely that IC4, that was the lecture theater, and they was very close to this the very boundary. And then there was dhaba, actually, so we used to have a lot of samosas and chai. That I remember a lot, actually, after. And that's what I'm missing nowadays also, you know uh, after the classes and all and off, whenever we get a chance, we just bunk some classes also. Sometimes, we don't like to attend the class and then have chai and samosas over there in graduation time. But when I entered the masters, I was more and more focused towards the research, and this is my turning point in my life. When I got admission, I qualified the test. At that time, a masters in biotechnology in Aligarh itself, where the project was given to me on this PLGA microspheres mediated clearance of bilirubin in temporary hypobilirubemic rats, and alternate strategy for treatment of experimental jaundice. So this is a concept that I really liked much, and how this concept came to my mind, because this microspheres, I learned this technique as a summer intern in early 2000 in the Department of Biochemistry AIMS under Dr. D.N. Rao. And he taught me in a different way how to prepare this delivery system to immunize, because this is immunology department under the biochemistry. So he was like more focused on immunology side. That what this particular delivery system I exploited to clear the bilirubin from systemic circulation. And I was so passionate about that time to scale up this thing. I would never ever realize that this will published in BB at that time in master dissertation itself. This was eye opening for me, and I really thankful to all my seniors over there who supported me and published this paper at a very early stage of my career. But in my mind, something was there that I wanted to join industry, after this biotechnology. And at the same time, my father told me, like, okay, go for the higher education. You remember when you were in a primary school, also asked me a very basic question: what is the highest degree that one should go and attain? Actually, then he used to tell me the PhD is the highest degree. So, master, you are done. It's good, but you have to fulfill your dream and go for the higher studies. I am here to support you. So that was the kind of encouragement given by my father at that time in early 2003, and that what drive me to go further studies. And luckily I got this particular area, the cancer, where I was interested on to work on. So far, I mean, whenever I aspire something, I usually get by blessing of Allah. And I must say that always, because I'm the kind of privileged child in that way. At least whatever I wish, I always get that, whether in terms of education, in terms of any other stuff by my family. So the topic that we chosen was molecular characterization of tumor suppressor gene. That is a newly discovered tumor suppressor at that time, and it is very clear, association with other solid cancers, but it was not very well established with cervical cancer in 2003. So we opted this particular gene, and we chose one reference gene, that's F1P16, just as a other marker, and we tried to characterize this particular gene in HPV infected as well as HPV non-infected cases. We all know cancer cervix is a leading cause of cancer in India, and main cause reason is HPV, that is sexually transmitted infection. So I just wanted to give you overview as per my academic background so far, and then luckily I got a chance to work as a visiting faculty in Indian School of Medicine, IUPUI, Purdue University. And that project was from NIH. I really love this project as well, to understand the tropism co-receptor preference for the entry into the primary cells, and development of neutralizing monoclonal antibodies to block HIV infection. So it seems like when my guide shared with me this is the project, it was very fascinating me to join this group, because my supervisor from the Nobel laureate group, and so I thought, let me go and acquire some more skills over there. So this is, you can say, post PhD. I had some experience in the lab. And another degree that I acquired while I was writing in last semester exam, when I was doing my this visiting faculty fellowship over there, and postgraduate diploma business administration 2 years course from Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning. I also awarded this degree at that time itself. So again, I'm lucky in sense that whenever I feel like I want to do something, I complete it on time actually. So this is a strong commitment that I have from the bench side. We all scientists, we do a lot of bench work initially, and then we can grab a ladder in the career. So I am, and I will. I really mean it, and I strongly support whenever I feel like whatever I am right now, and whatever I can contribute, I'm always ready to do that. And there's a lot of area that where we need to bridge the gap between science and society, industry and academia, and geneticist and clinician. And so we have taken some action so far, according to uh, fulfill this particular dream that I have opted. So I trained myself in industry, and I work for multinational company from USA. Like one is giant in life science research, Barrett Laboratories. Another one is leader in molecular diagnostic, like Abbott Molecular. So I learned different techniques that is applied in both in diagnostic as well as research, academia, and all. So it's a very balanced kind of training that I acquire from both the platform, and they spend a lot in the training program across the center, in the India or outside the India also, wherever we got a chance. I'm always ready and open to acquire new skill and try to implement that and give it back to our society. So this is the forum that I wanted to share with all of you. I'll take some more time to just explore this particular open source website that we have developed in 2011, with a very clear-cut mission to facilitate the knowledge transfer and raise the awareness with regard to preventive healthcare, with focus with women and girls. So as Prashant already given some kind of you can say idea about to all of the participants today here that what this particular website is and what is the mission behind it, why we need this particular kind of forum more and more in near future. So if you look at this particular logo that we have designed at that time, after so many logo that was rejected by a close group of my friends, so I was the one who is keep on searching what should be the ideal logo. So then we searched for this the 5 communities there. So we assumed that this the teal color, because cervical cancer awareness is the teal color, and we use this particular community is well aware and the black one is not aware. So we started adopting this black community, and this after 10 years of completion this year, we modified little bit of logo, and as rightly said, we have given the name Abir. That's the name of my son, and the name of the meaning is like, whenever you see a dream, and it's very difficult to interpret that dream. That Abir is like, the literally meaning from Arabic word that's from the Quran, that he is the interpreter of the dream. Whenever you see a dream, he's there to interpret that dream, and then it will be easy for you to understand what kind of dream that we are seeing. So I have dreamed long back, and dream comes true in 2020, blessed with a son, and I dedicated this particular work to in the name of my son, that is Abid, that is innovation for future. Why we chosen this tagline? Because in preventive health we act today for healthier tomorrow. And I'd like to thank that I started from zero, and then we have 19 PhDs, including Renuka, and I am really thankful to Dr. Dhanlakshmi also, and there that Sunil Kumar Polipali, they all are like always with me, and they are like connecting link between both BioClues and bioservices. So they help me a lot to come up with good ideas where we can bridge the gap between science and society. So, as an outreach partner, we signed a couple of agreements with other trusts whom we are closely working with to execute this concept and transfer the knowledge at the ground level. One is Capit, another one is Beautiful Tomorrow Trust. One is Capit is based in Gurgaon, Delhi NCR, Haryana, and then the other trust is based in Ghaziabad, that is in UP. So we balance both the state in Delhi NCR region, and we work a lot together actually. So this core members there, they always with me, and I'm really thankful to all the core members who always supported me at their capacity. So we come up with a very clear cut objective, because we scientists always define objectives whenever we start any project. So this is the kind of project for me. So objectives are very clear. Three domains we are working closely: prevention and disease control, public engagement activity, health education, and research. So in prevention and disease control, what we are working right now is, we are trying to encourage more and more medical practitioners to promote screening and vaccination within the communities. That we have done like really wonderful job in last 1 decade, and at the same time, we are closely working with the healthcare providers also to raise the awareness regarding acceptability of the vaccination by pre-adolescent girls and their parents in India. Uh, and the public health agencies on methods to improve and sustain this immunization coverage. So we have a lot of success story, and I would like to share in future whenever I had a chance to share with all of you in this particular domain. Similarly, in public engagement activity, we are doing a lot of activities by regular sharing articles, YouTube videos, short videos, and doing a lot of offline, online public engagement activity, educational activities, presentation, workshop. So these are the things that we are continuously, working on that, and we also talk about specific health issues and their impact on society at large, and that was delivered by both medical professionals as well as scientists like us. And the last domain, we have two objectives again, that is health education and research. And in this particular area, we are really focusing more and more on role of genetic counseling, and they're engaging in advising individuals and the families that are affected by, or at least at the risk of inherited genetic disorders, number one. And at the same time, we are very committed to raise the awareness and engage the community based on various environmental, lifestyle, genetic disorders, whatever you can say. Mainly more focused towards STI as well as reproductive health. On behalf of this particular last objective that we have defined long back, BioClues come forward, and really thankful to Prashant, who helped me a lot to design a program, and we bring a lot of academician on this particular forum. Uh, to just share their knowledge and see the importance of genetic counseling. So this particular area where we're bridging the gap between geneticist and clinician, this is the consortium that we formed in the lockdown. So as you having said that, Dr. Sunil is now heading the chair, and me as well as Dr. Dhanlakshmi Shetty as the co-chair of this particular GCCI. So I'm really thankful to Dr. Dhanlakshmi over here, because I always consult her first. Before starting this consortium, I had a lot of discussion with her, and she is always on the supporting side. And because she is one of the senior genetic counselor that we have on board with us right now. So this is not enough. What I have seen in my life, because we are coming up with a library that is very much required for a general community, those who are not from the science background. And we recently redesigned this page, and this is in the archival mode. So the last page that I have shown over here, so we started writing and publishing articles since 2015. In earlier 2-3 years, we are like doing a different activities at a different level. So we started a lot of programs slowly and gradually, and you can search any article, and we have very basic format for any article, like background, symptoms, diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. So if any one of you would like to contribute your knowledge and share with this platform, I'll happy to do that. And our editorial team are there to help you out if some minor modification is required to publish this article on this particular open source website. Today is 29th, and we all know we are like celebrating this breast cancer awareness month. So I recommend all of you to go through at least this reader's views comment, where she strongly share her own experience and about the bioservices also, what we are doing and how it's helpful for anyone. So this Shamila Goa, this posted, I think this reader's views on October 29, the same day in 2018. So I thought, let me share with all of you. So any one of you would like to share your views after going through our website, I'll be happy to share that story as well. So Prashant, this is especially for you, because you've given me a chance 2 times so far at a public forum. This was a very good interaction with all of the students, that those who come for the bioinformatics BSIR Jaipur, and you allow me to give a talk over there also. And this was the talk, HPV positive, what next? And we discuss a lot. This is an entire project that we need to do, because with the help of this powerful tool NGS, we can come to a conclusion whether that particular infection will persist or it will clear by a body, because we all know 90% of the cases HPV infection is cleared by own body, by own immune system. But due to some of these factors that is associated with the host, this particular virus is like well settled over there, that they don't want to come out of the body because of these changes. So whenever there is a disturbance in the microbiome, that is the vaginal microbiome, there is a chance that it will persist, not it will clear by your immune system. So clearance versus persistent is the question mark today. So I hope we are going to discuss more and more with all of the scientists that is present over here, and let's see if we can start this project in near future. Another chance that I given by Prashant to me was INBIX 19, and I thoroughly enjoyed this session, entire session, followed by national anthem, then presentation by eminent speakers. So you can say, I was not from the bioinformatics background, but my intention was to share my experience with all scientists over there, how we are going to contribute, in near future, whatever the skill that we have, whatever the knowledge that we have. So there is again gap, and we can see there is a huge gap in low resource setting, and what are the tools that need to be given to that society, so that we can bring down this cervical cancer under 100% control, because we have a tool to fight against this particular cancer. So government is also doing its bit, but like they also come with the operational framework management of common cancer, including oral, breast, and cervix. So VIS, they proposed, this is a visual inspection by acetic acid. So I'm not going technical detail, but just I wanted to give you overview how we can align these kind of basic tools to combat with this particular disease. So NIH and Global Good Health, they all come together, and they try to identify the pre-cancerous very accurately with the help of this artificial intelligence tool. And if any changes that is there and that is required a medical attention or clinical intervention, that tool is very helpful. So I love to share this article with all of the audience based upon their request and interest to go into the detail. And this is the well-published literature in early 2019. this Mark Schiffman and the Division of Cancer Epidemiology and Genetics, they come up with this strong findings that this deep learning algorithm can use as images collected during routine cervical cancer screening to identify pre-cancer changes that, if left untreated, may develop into the cancer. And it was supported by CEO of this Global Good and Vice President of the Global Goods, because the main aim of the Global Good is to identify the gap and try to come up with the product and services wherever it is required. In health news column, we always come up with a lot of recent research that is going on and is done by our colleagues sometimes. So this is one of the area that microRNA based approach that she has recently completed her PhD. She identified 4 microRNA that is available in the urine that is good for self sampling, because during and post COVID everybody is recommending to go for self sampling, even self sampling, collect your swab by yourself. The urine can be collected anywhere by anyone by any time as per your privacy and all, and we can see there is a future in this particular area. So I urge Prashant also to look into this particular publication that is there on this article, and let's see if we come up with the better tool to do this HPV based cervical cancer screening in low resource setting by using urine as a sample. We have an expert views column with us, so I just giving you a one example so that anybody can engage at their capacity, where they are from the clinical background or non-clinical background. So this forum is expert views for mainly clinician, and during pandemic also we come up with this concept. There was a frequently asked questions by our readers and viewers related to COVID-19 pandemic and pregnancy, and this was very well articulated by Dr. Aruna Nigam, one of the senior professor and faculty in Hamdard Institute of Medical Science and Research, New Delhi. Another challenge during pandemic was it's very difficult to convince under 10 years of age of the child. So this 5 years old Chitrangda Roy, she take the challenge under WHO banner Safe Hand Challenge during pandemic time, and I recommend all of you to go. This video is really funny. At the same time, it's very encouraging for any child, to go for the hand washing. She is like encouraging and advocating a lot why hand hygiene is important and how it saved the lives. So we, as Prashant said, we done a lot of activities so far. So this is the first event that we done. This is very close to my heart, and this started from the corporate. This WISE Women in Search of Excellence. This is an initiative from Dell USA, and this unit from India. I was the speaker over there, and the topic was cervical cancer prevention and control: a healthier future for girls and women. So 5-page report that was signed between Bioservices and this Dell India, and send it to the corporate US as a report. That was really successful, a story that I wanted to share with all of you. So we do a lot of activities, as I said, not only in the corporate, but in institution, educational, medical college, school. And I'm not the only one, as I said, I started, but a lot of other scientific resources, they join me, not only scientists, but the clinician also. As you can see in the Lucknow, we, with the help of one NGO, Sarvajan Vikas Samiti, headed by Rashmi Singh madam, and guest of honor was like Dr. Nisa Singh from KGMC and Dr. Nidhi, her student. She was the one who is like take a step forward and invite me as a speaker over there and try to interact with the school and college after that. So this was a wonderful story that I shared so far, according to my best ability and knowledge. So I strongly believe that together we can make a difference, and anybody can connect me through a single click through my website. You can email me also at kausa.niaz@bioservices.org if you have any question, any idea, any feedback related to this particular forum that I shared with you, or anything else that is based on evidence scientists. So I end up my presentation with this Apple. We all know this Apple at a lighter note, whether it's a Newton one or Steve Jobs, but this Google helped me a lot to present this Apple in the customized way: eat healthy, be active, be screen, be a healthy weight, be a smoke free, at least limit alcohol if you can't say no. So thank you all of you for listening me. Thanks a lot. Prashant, over to you. Thank you, Prashant. Yeah, I mean, it was really challenging initially because a lot of time was consumed, and I really, someday I just miss that sweet dream in the night because I really woke up late, and because I have a limited time, I have to work for in the corporates that I'm working right now 5 days a week. So the two corporate that I shared with you, where I have taken the role as a support scientist over there to bring technology from uh, you know from the country where they have originated, developed, like in USA, and then bring it that technology to the India. So I was supporting that. So that, apart from that, what was you can say what keep me going on was because this is something that was there in my mind while I was doing my PhD. Once I left AMU after masters, so reason behind that, in clinical research, like that what I have done on cancer cervix, where I used to collect clinical sample from clinician, the gynae OPD, and we used to form where clinical information is required. So whenever I'm reviewing the literature, then I've seen that it's 100% preventable, and though we are losing a lot of women in India at that time. So I thought, what we can do as an individual, what I can do as an individual. So where awareness is prevention, prevention, and prevention is the cure of the cancer. This is the link actually. So I thought, let me start a blog, open source blog, where anybody can join us, and how long I'll write a blog, by my own. So I thought, let me bring all other scientists whom I know at that time. So that was the something that was there in my mind, but at the same time, the Purdue experience was also game changing for me, where they was very much focused on preventive. All developed countries, they are very much focused, whether it's a government because they have a screening and vaccination program. They are they are in their national immunization and screening program. Most of the cancer, we in India, we still don't have that much of liberty to go and get ourselves screen free of cost. So the challenge was to motivate the common people, common mass, and make them understand how important for you to get yourself screened. So cancer cervix, I started with that, and then I slowly and gradually, whenever I got like other hands to work with me, like as I said, 19 PhD working closely with me, including Neruka, your wife. So then I started to cover all other women health related issues as well. So we are now much dedicated to you can say women health preventive, mainly not only cancer but any other STI as well as infectious, environmental, lifestyle based disease. we have some evidence from other countries like China or some other countries, so where they strongly recommend based upon their research cohort on the large sample size on this microRNA based biomarker in urine, mainly especially in urine, because we have a lot of biomarkers. We all know um, wherever there is a cell, there is a tissue, and based upon DNA, RNA, and protein. So even I also published one chapter in Springer Group in 2019 in collaboration with one of my expert panelists, Dr. Sumita Mehta, on biomarkers, where I have listed more than 25 commercial companies are there. They have, they already commercialized the particular product for cervical cancer screening at DNA, RNA, protein, and cellular markers. So the challenge over here in a urine sample is we really need to identify an array of markers. Number one, it's not two, three, four markers, because in PhD you can't do much because you have a limited time, limited budget also. So see, given a very good clue for all of us, at least in Indian setup. And she trained by my guru, my director of the institute when I was doing my PhD, Dr. BC Das. So Professor BC Das, well-known scientist in India, who work under Dr. Zorhausen, Nobel laureate in HPV pathogenesis and all. And he was like he's a student, so he bring that HPV and this NICPR. In that collaboration, I completed my PhD. So they are doing a lot of you know biomarkers related things related to HPV and cervical cancer management and all. So I think that let us consider that paper as a reference paper, in spite of considering any other reference paper that is published outside the India on other clinical setup. So at least this give us a boost, or encourage us to explore more and more RNA biomarkers. And you are expert in that. I trust that, and probably you can give us a better insight. What will be the ideal biomarker panel for this urine based cell sampling biomarker is concerned? Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I mean, you rightly said we need to connect with the society, number one, because this product is for them, and NGO, they are doing their bit to connect, scientific community, the laboratories, and the tertiary care hospital, even if some treatment is required for anyone who is screened positive. So, because of few constraints before, you can say pandemic, because we have a limited resource to do the HPV DNA testing, even if it is strongly recommended, and all developed countries they already adopted HPV DNA testing as a primary screening. So based upon my experience with two NGO whom I work closely, and I'm working right now with them also, and I used to visit a field also. So for them, they really need someone who go with a very strong evidence in the form of a story, that this is the marker and this is how we need to collect a sample from you, and that can be tested by the laboratory. So the challenge over here is in existing scenario, where we have this either cytology based screening or DNA based testing, we need a good infrastructure support as well as laboratory to do that. Number one, starting from the sample collection itself, because nobody is very comfortable to collect the sample by themselves as far as cervical swab is concerned. So the other area to just to increase, the participation rate, if as we as a scientist come up with a tool under the urine, okay, this is equally good as compared to these other markers that we have based upon the DNA, RNA, or protein so far as of now. So this need to be validated a good number of samples with a strict inclusion and exclusion criteria. That sampling can be done from the field, from the hospitals, and then the scientific committee, like from where you are right now in Amrita Institute of Biotechnology. So you already have this medical college with you, and I know one well-established medical college recently in the Faridabad as well that is very close to my residence. So if you find someone who is interested to do this kind of a study, I love to coordinate with you as well as Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences in Faridabad. And whatever experience that I have, whatever the resource that I have, I'll try my best to come up with a at least some prototype or some initial data, and then we can approach to any knowledge part where this can be translated into the product with a full agreement between industry and academia. So we are there to bridge the gap between industry and academia based upon our own experience. We all are from academia, and for last 10 years, I was like working with industry so far. So I can see post pandemic there is a good collaboration between both industry and academia to tackle the COVID. So this is a hidden pandemic, the cervical cancer in India because of this HPV infection, and I don't want to lose a single life. I don't want to lose my single queen from my country. Every single women and girls is very precious for any family, as we all know, for the country, so we don't want to lose at any cost. So those who are women in science, mainly Aparna is there heading this chair, women in biology in the bachelor. So I already had 1 hour of interaction, last week, and she is ready to help us now at her capacity, whatever she can do, out of her busy schedule. So this is what I'm inspiring a lot of resource person, whatever we have, so that we can come up with a product, at least, if not product, at least with some services. So that what I have done so far, and you aware of that. In my last assignment, I come up with a DNA based real-time PCR based DNA test for HPV that was validated, developed under my supervision, and that is already commercialized. And the whole idea was to make affordable and accessible to all, even if there is HPV DNA testing is required, which is a well-established test that is there in the market. And most of the time, we are importing that kit from different country, and there is a huge cost behind that. So at least we can reduce that cost, and by raising continuous awareness, we can make them aware also the importance of this particular test, where you don't have to go for close follow-up as in case of other tests that is there in the routine testing in our scenario as well. So DNA testing alternate 5 years, that is what is recommended, because this particular test you need continuous follow up after 3 years in case of cytology, and alternate 5 years in case of HPV DNA testing. So if we come with any powerful marker equivalent to DNA testing, so at least 5 years alternate we can manage, and we can also closely monitor with the help of digital media that we have right now, with the help of some app, some AI based, so that we can have a good database with us, we can have a good follow up, and that can be, I mean, we have enough tool to fight against this particular disease, so that can under 100% control. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, if you frankly ask me, I also had, you know, like this kind of mindset when I was not started by services, when I was not interacting with any women. I thought it's very difficult to, go among them and talk about this private part, especially cancer cervix, because it's a female reproductive organ. So nobody's feel very comfortable to talk on any kind of, cancer related to these women or girls. So, but what I have noticed, what I've experienced because of my the public engagement activity that I'm doing routinely. In I've given one example in Dell Life Sciences that was exclusively for women. No one was there except me in that entire room full of all girls and women over there in a reproductive age. So that was the first lecture, and you can imagine, it was wonderful. So whatever the perception that I have before, starting actually going to the action, that was totally changed. And that what drive me to do more and more activities like that in girls college. And I have done that. It's all documented on my website and the event page. So, so this is one thing. So we need to talk first, because uh, there are a lot of taboos, not only related to this particular gynecological cancer, but other routine health issues like menstrual disorders and all. So we cover a lot of articles related to this menstrual disorders, because nobody want to talk about this particular, menstrual hygiene, because it's very basic and you need to understand from the school days, and your parents need to come forward and make you aware what this particular is, and this is a natural phenomena. So there are a lot of issues that we wanted to bring down, and come under the like public domain with the help of our expert that we have. And Sunanda is like one of our volunteers. He documented short, documentary on this menstrual hygiene on menstrual hygiene day this year, with the short videos, 1 minute videos that is there on our website. So on YouTube, this is the kind of stigma that we are bridging with the help of this, YouTube channel, that the bioservices that have, so that whatever the myth that is there, let us come with the fact with the help of scientific com. That is our motto. So you asked me the personal friend or professional friend? Okay, so personal front, I'm very lucky to blessed with a baby child, and I always blessed and thankful to Allah that we have really wonderful and you know son with us. So we initially faced a lot of challenge. We all faced, like, the complete lockdown, and this baby was born in January 2020. So it's a lockdown baby. After 2 3 months, the complete lockdown. So no kam wali, nothing was there. So we all managed somehow, and that was a wonderful journey. That what bring us as a parent very close to each other. So I'm lucky in a way that I, the girl that I wanted to marry, I married finally, and I had a beautiful wife with me right now. So uh, this is one thing at a personal front. You can say it's a great achievement for me to being a fatherhood, and I really enjoyed the fatherhood for last 2 years. And I don't know how time flew, in that way. So for me, pandemic was not like a curse; it was a blessing for me. But I do a lot of collaboration, also online collaboration as far as professional front, where I share a lot of experience with me, because in logo I have modified little bit. If you have noticed, there is a digital sign 0 and 1 between the black comma that was not there initially. So during lockdown, I reached maximum. I really thoroughly enjoyed, because I saved a lot of time. Initially, before pandemic, I used to travel a lot. Whole day was wasted. At least in 1 or 2 hours, I can reach to the community and masses over there with the help of this digital media. So I'm looking ahead to do more and more scientific events through digital platform. That what COVID taught me, and more collaboration between industry and academia. That is what is required and need of the hour to come up with the product or services, just to make our community beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I am. It's not either due to shyness or lack of awareness right now at this moment of time. It's all the again the myth or that have the parents, because parent has to pay for this vaccination. So we have objective, on the bio services, that we need to convince more and more parents, number one, to take the charge, because I'm not going to blame government in that, at least because for government there are a lot of health issues, other issues also there, national and international level, to tackle with minimum resources that we have. We we love to spend a lot of times by doing a lot of fun activities, you can say entertainment and all that is good, but not at the cost of life. At least you can save life by getting 2 or 3 doses. That is not going to cost. It's all mindset. So even all set of community, we as a parent, we need to take a charge and go for the vaccination, and we need to educate our girls and daughters as well, in our family, so that everyone is vaccinated at least. So vaccine is available everywhere, we all know. uh, Cost is one of the concern for underprivileged group. So NGOs are there; they are coming forward. I closely work with the NGO where we vaccinated a lot of girls free of cost. That fund was raised by the NGO, and I was there as a speaker over there to bridge the myth and facts as far as these parents are concerned for school going children. So there is a hope, and we all are hopeful to uh, contribute, at least the way we can, rather than just blaming the government. Because another problem with the government is that it's not under national immunization program. That is why it's not like, as far as we have seen in the COVID. If such kind of program is there in the government plan also in near future, we are looking at, because Australia is a very good example for us. Where they started the national immunization program, and the control is drastically dropped down, with the help of this particular vaccination drive. I look forward to take this particular, concern by the government in near future to include it under national immunization program, where we can see a change in a very limited time and with a very better impact. Yeah. So I know that he's doing good job in this particular area for a long time now, and he's having good collaboration also with clinicians and all. So the gap is, we need to make a prototype in such a way that it should not be very expensive. So technology we need to opt very carefully. If you look at why do we need multiplexing in the first place, that is the question that need to be asked by yourself. So as a scientist, multiplexing is not recommended, not required. Also, as far as routine screening is concerned, the reason behind that, the reason behind that, uh, if you look at the data that we have, the evidence that we have from the lab, hardly 20-10% positivity, that is in the tertiary care hospital. In community, we get usually 4 to 5%. So single target just to know positive, negative. The primer should be designed in such a way that it cover all high risk, at least 12 plus 2, that is there in the high risk, that is directly linked causing the cancer. Any good chemistry that is affordable, because when you go to the multiplexing, we are going to opt technology that is expensive nowadays, because multiplexing can't be done with a very cheap dye, actually, that is intercalating dye to screen. So I can see that whenever we wanted to develop a tool, mainly for HIV DNA testing, let us adopt a technology that is affordable, so that we can implement it at a mass level, rather than just publishing and documenting in the good journal, index journal. That is not going to solve a problem, and unless and until we come up with a product that is affordable and everybody can afford it to have under the screening program. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.